Okay, so this is my second attempt on this video. I am a bit slow and a little verbose, so I'm going to try to rush through things a little bit so that I can get everything covered, as I do not want to exceed a 5-minute limit. This again is for GCU for Ethics and Advocacy in Elementary Education. And let's get into it. So, virtues, obviously discussed as positive character traits and moral qualities that are good and desirable. What four virtues do I see in myself, including one from each category: civic, moral, performance, and intellectual? For civic virtue, I would say courage. I do tend to stand up for what is right and what I believe to be right, and I fight for those who are suffering in political or community injustice. Moral, I would say honesty. I prefer the truth and not versions of the truth, as I find sincerity more valuable. Performance, motivation. I have an enthusiastic drive to complete tasks, and I tend to get involved in things that are around me. And intellectual, by far, autonomy. I choose to think and act independently, and I rely on my own intelligence and my understanding and reasoning of judgment and progress. Um, how these four virtues will help me in creating an inclusive classroom. I think it's pretty simple to understand that. I'm courageous, which means I have the ability to fight for what I believe is correct in my classrooms, the ability to maintain not the status quo, but the correct platforms, the correct situations for my students. I'm honest. I won't lie to my students. I won't create an environment that fosters dishonesty. I'm motivated, which means I'm going to look for new, exciting ways to teach, as well as making sure that I'm bringing out the cultural values of the students that I have. And finally, autonomy. This is more of thinking outside the box, creating my own kind of understanding based on the classroom environment that I'm in, and not necessarily accepting what everybody says is the correct format in developing my classroom environments. Developing these, looking at the virtues that I believe are most critical in my role as an educator. I think they're all valuable, but I think motivation, honestly, is the most valuable of the four that I've listed. Motivation keeps me moving forward. It keeps me involved. It keeps me recognizing what's going on around me. It's not necessarily just enough to be present. If you're not motivated for more, then you will never be successful in these types of environments. How do these align with the concept of Imago Dei? Imago Dei, the image of God. This is a concept that, in this particular case, recognizes the inherent worth, dignity, and potential of every student, every human. Imago Dei is every human, not just every student, but in this case, every student. I think, in particular, again, more so than any of the others, I think honesty and motivation really push for this concept that every student deserves equal treatment. Every student deserves fair treatment, because they are all inherently worthy and of dignity and have potential. But I think autonomy is another huge one here, because I'm teaching my students how to have their own autonomy. Yes, I want them to learn the skills and the information that I'm providing, but I'm also wanting them to be critical thinkers. I'm also wanting them to develop their own personalities, their own cultures, their own understandings of the world. So I think autonomy actually takes the cake on what I believe will influence Imago Dei more than other cases. What does character formation mean to me? This is interesting, because character formation is, for me, it's a collection of the interactions, the relationships I have with people around me. That's family, friends, society, culture, community. This is also referenced in the Pedagogy for Public Schools by Benjamin Breckert. This is a moment where we can look at relationships and how those influence the individual, and how that's a primary factor in character development. It's not something, you hear stories, the old myths about the people who grew up in caves only seeing reflections on a wall. That was their relationship. Their entire character development is built on the lack of reality that they encountered. So for me, the reality, the relationships, the interactions are what generate character development. 2 or 3 strategies that I'll use to foster character development in the classroom. I'm going to read off what I wrote here, because I don't know that I can talk about it without using a lot more time. So first, I would use modeling virtuous behavior, involving me demonstrating ethical traits such as kindness, patience, and integrity. I think that's the easiest. Second is integrating character education into the curriculum. This ensures more development, and it's an intentional part of learning. I don't want to just put these words out there and expect students to understand them. I need to give them an intentional part of their learning in order to get them moving forward. Specific research and reading tools, resources. There's a lot of these that I found. Simple K-12 is a platform that offers professional development created by teachers for teachers. There are different programs, workshops that are available, particularly SEL. Reading and literature, obviously there's tons of books on how to incorporate character development and virtues into education. And then, of course, cooperative learning. There are lots of educators that already have these tools and skills, so it's not enough for me to just look at things online or read other people's research. I can also ask the people around me. And of course, mental health support. The biggest part of all of this is that I think most of it is codependent on mental health. If we don't have proper mental health structures or understandings, we're incapable of being successful in these fields. So I think I touched on all of those points. I'm sorry that I rushed so much, but again, I am very verbose, so I would have talked for 20 minutes and not 5. So there we go. I look forward to writing a paper on this in a few minutes. Thank you, and have a great day.